So in conclusion to this first lecture of your class, which you'll have a very short quiz on, in conclusion, we came to a point around the early 20th century when electricity started becoming more prevalent. And at a certain point in the early 20th century, let's say the 1920s, electricity became so prevalent that if you didn't have electricity, you were looked at as an outsider, somebody who was a little quirky, a little off. And even today, I mean, that's even crazier, but if somebody doesn't have electricity or something like plumbing, you'd be like, whoa, holy crap, wood guy, you know? That means it's a utility. And as a utility, we pay for those things because we have to keep them going. At a certain point in the late 1990s and early 2000s, the cell phone became a utility. It was something that if you didn't have a cell phone, you were part of the outsiders. And that means that utility becomes something that we expect people to have. We understand people to have that. Today, we think of that in the way of social media. We think that if people don't have social media, we look at them a little off. Like, what is it that keeps you away from having social media? That means we've come to a point where social media and new media are cultural utilities. And cultural utility is an oxymoron, and yet we use them all the time because we are now at a point where we've now put them in the background. They're just things we do. But that means as culture becomes utility, it can be then commodified and used to sell ourselves back to ourselves. In other words, things we make into the culture, which you just saw, end up becoming used to sell us products again that we end up buying, creating new culture to avoid that, and then buying again. This class is about that. So throughout the entire semester, I'd like you to keep that in the back of your mind as we go forward, because a lot of your readings have to use that framework, especially the framework of Foucault, which is power and knowledge. Remember, they work together, power and knowledge. It isn't knowledge that becomes power and power that becomes knowledge. It's knowledge and power. That idea is that they're together throughout this utility, this cultural medium, and that word should be very interesting to you, that drives the way our systems work on an everyday basis. And if you know that, you can start keeping a very open mind to the way that we're going to look at the way things have changed over the course of the last year and the course of the last 15 years and how they will change over the next decade. And that's what we'll be doing in this class. So I really do hope you enjoy it. I hope you follow along. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact. Feel free to visit me in physical real space too, which is in room 104A, Wilbur Hall. And you can come by and play virtual reality at any point. We have the Oculus Rift headset, so come by. And you can always email me and find me there too. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out and talk. And if you have any additional comments, please feel free to share them in the discussion forum. If you find articles that are relevant, you'll get extra credit for that. So I'll make another forum for that called Extra Credit Articles if you just want to post stuff. There's a fair amount of you in this room, so I'd really like you to kind of get to know each other with what you like to share and your opinions. You should feel that this is a judgment-free space. If you feel like you're going to say something that's controversial, feel free. We'll talk it out. I mean, those are things that happen in an online space as well. So feel free to really be critically thinkers, creative-minded, and emote the way that you feel that you should inside of these spaces. I think this is going to be a really good class, and we have all semester to cover this. So enjoy. Until next time, have a good one.